Definitely there's a Grey's fandom, and specifically with Meredith Grey, that is very protective. You could say possessive, you could say protective, you could say whatever you want. Hey, what's up, InStyle? This is Scott Speedman, and you are watching this guy right here. My birthday, September 1st, 1975, which makes me a Virgo, and some say I'm a triple Virgo, which is something you really should stay away from. And my moon is Virgo, I'm a Virgo. When I was born, it was like a triple. It's bad news. That they're kind of the worst. They're really annoying. They're very clean and organized more than clean. They want to fix everything and do everything, control everything, which is a little like me. But if you went out and looked at my car in the parking lot, it's a disaster zone. So I'm a bit that way and I'm a bit not that way. But as I get older, I feel the Virgo tendencies coming in a bit more. The only one I've heard that even remotely works is McSpeedy, just because of my last name. But I don't think it's catching on anywhere. I haven't seen it anywhere. Someone said it to me, and I haven't seen it anywhere. It hasn't really picked up steam yet. Right now, I'm doing a small Americano, but sometimes the coffee orders get out of hand where I'm having an oat milk cappuccino and an Americano, and then later in the day, anything past 12, I'll do like a jasmine green tea or two. So it depends where I'm at fatigue-wise. I just had a kid, so sleep is minimal. So the caffeine intake has gone up slightly, which isn't great for anybody. I'm a dog person. I love dogs. I mean, as I said before, I just had a kid. I feel like having a dog for the first time was my gateway drug, where I was like, okay, I can do this. That opened up my heart in such a specific way. My dude, Bodie, 4 years old now. I was always against having any sort of responsibility, and then met my girlfriend, who I'm still with right now, and then we got a dog, and that was game over. It changed my life for sure. Yeah, I mean, profound difference. I mean, my girlfriend is not, when we go hiking, she's scared of mountain lions and fearful of things and this and that. But then to see this other superhuman person come alive during the home birth was just incredible, and something instinctual took over her. And I don't know what goes on naturally, physically within the body to allow her to have done that, but it was just sort of awe-inspiring. So forever, our relationship is altered and different, and the respect factor was already high, but it's through the roof. And just to see someone do that with no drugs and to do it for 30 hours, and it was insane. It was a beautiful experience, but scary. There's a moment always when you're doing this, like, is this okay? But she was incredible. Incredible. I mean, they're all very nerve-wracking. I mean, up until very recently, I was nervous for all of them in a certain kind of way. My first job in America was Felicity, and that was a tremendous amount of pressure and fear. And then from that, I started working, pretty high level, and they were always tremendously scary to me back then. Just recently, in the last, 5, 6, 7 years, I've sort of relaxed into it and started to have more fun. I had left my agent at the time. I was sleeping on my mom's couch. I just got back from theater school in New York, where I dropped out of, and some agent heard they wanted me to read for this show, and I was all snooty and 22 years old, and they said it was the WB, and I said, I don't want to do a WB show. So eventually got the script, and as soon as I read it, I knew this was something, even at that age, that I knew I should go for, because it was really, really, really good. I wasn't totally ready for the spotlight at that age, so I don't know how it would have been, differed. It might have been good to be seasoned a little more and have a little more years under your belt before you did a show that was that explosive and that popular. But that's my favorite, probably my favorite thing I've done still is Felicity, just because of who I was doing it with and all that. So I might still be in Toronto if I didn't do that show, so who knows? The stuff I'm doing right now, whether it was Crimes of the Future with Cronenberg or this thing I just did with Lena Dunham, Sharp Stick, they represent more, I think, what I've been trying to do with my career up until now. And those ones kind of stand out as a bit more me than the other ones in a way. That's a tough one. And I've watched it 3 times, and we joke within the cast, like, you try to describe it, I can't. Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably need 24 hours and a pen in a dark room to try to figure that one out. It's probably not even considered the villain of the latest Batman movie, but I thought like Colin Farrell as the Penguin, that sort of deconstructed Penguin that he did under like 10,000 pounds of makeup was this amazing thing. I know that guy a little bit, and he's an incredible guy and an incredible actor, and to watch him do that was something that was pretty profound to me, to see someone that's been doing this for as long as I have, and then coming into his own, really, doing these amazing characters and this amazing character work. That was pretty profound to me. Ellen Pompeo is a friend of mine, offset out of work. I know her through mutual friends, and we've hung out a couple times. She wanted me to come on and do the show, and I did, thinking it would just be a one-off. I was told it would just be a one-off, and then she just didn't stop. Once she gets something in her mind that she wants, she's a producer that way. She's a great entrepreneur and a tough producer, and she, good at getting what she wants. And she kept calling me and calling me and calling me and offering me. So eventually it was the right timing, and eventually I said yes. And I've had a blast so far. When people ask me what kind of characters I want to play, it's more like directors I want to work with. Paul Thomas Anderson and Terrence Malick and people like shooters like that. I've gotten to work with some great directors, but there's still people on my list. If we're gonna do something classic like that, where it's a classic character, classic masculine character from the 50s or 60s or something like that, an anti-hero of some sort, a very flawed, deeply flawed human being. That's the kind of stuff I search for, and having a director that could shoot that would be amazing to me. But that's a rarity. That's definitely a rarity. No, I had no idea the fire I was walking into. I've never really done stuff that has, in this day and age, the fandom is really part of a lot of these shows, and definitely there's a Grey's fandom, and specifically with Meredith Grey, that is very protective. You could say possessive, you could say protective, you could say whatever you want. But I had no idea, and it was I thought me coming on that show would be a bit of a layup, and it was funny with the fans. Yeah, they have all kinds of opinions. Some of them are well thought out, and some of them are just, a little crazy. But that part of it, to be honest, I think as a younger person would have bothered me, but it's kind of funny and fun now to see the different levels of people that have comments this way or that way. It's kind of funny. I get dressed immediately and go to my coffee shop at 6 a.m. and start writing anything. I just start writing on a page. Sometimes I'm learning my lines, sometimes I'm just writing out what I dreamt. That starts my day. That's what I do pretty much every day. With a kid now, it sort of complicates it. Sometimes I bring her along if she's awake, and she just sits there confused watching me. Terrible habit I'm in of listening to podcasts. I lay in bed and everything's off, and I have a noise machine on, and I listen to podcasts. Mindless things. It has to be very specifically mindless. It can be basketball. The Bill Simmons podcast, one of my favorites. Just listen to that, and that puts me to sleep in like 5 minutes. I have recurring dreams about going back into sports and I'm training again. I'm probably around my age that I am now, but I'm competing and then making the Olympics and doing all that, and then waking up and quickly realizing that's really, really, really far off, and that really is a distant dream because you're in your mid-40s and that ain't happening. The birth of my daughter, that exhausting time, it was a great thing, was a beautiful thing, but there was always complications, and that was a scary time. And just through the exhaustions of being up for 48 hours and running around and this and that, and seeing my girlfriend for the first time after that, and all of those things came together. Probably cried then. A flower of some kind, eucalyptus, is probably something that comes around here, I feel like, every spring, I think. And then when I'm hiking in certain places, yeah, you can smell it, and it just kind of reminds me of growing up and all that. My first kiss was on a swim trip. I was training and competing in Minnesota with a bunch of my teammates that I'd been with since I was 7 years old, and we were all becoming that age and staying at this motel, and I remember drifting away from the group with this girl at the time and went to the back of the motel, and that's where it happened. Lots of things, but driving across country, saying I was wrong, doing this and that. It didn't work out for me, but yeah, definitely made an impassioned plea, but didn't work out in my favor. Thank you, InStyle. I hope you've enjoyed learning a little bit more about me. Thank you.